This is a famous assassin nicknamed Ladybug. When she just stepped onto the street, Ladybug was almost hit by a car. Previously, Ladybug's last mission was to take adultery photos to blackmail someone. Before he could develop the photos, the subject jumped from the building and ended his life. He also fell on the roof of Ladybug's car. When she just returned to work, Ladybug was hired by another assassin. This time, the mission was to take a suitcase on the high-speed train. Because she was careful, Ladybug brought a knife and sleeping pills. Ladybug refused to use a gun because he felt that violence would not solve the problem. Ladybug was confident in his luck, so he only booked a train ticket to one stop. At this time, a man nicknamed Kimura boarded the train, his face full of fatigue. Kimura's purpose was to come to avenge his son, who was harmed to the point of being hospitalized. The enemy even dared to send Kimura an appointment to meet on the train. Kimura looked at the seat number on the ticket and went to the corresponding seat. Kimura immediately pointed the gun at the girl sitting there, but unexpectedly, it was a young girl with an innocent appearance.
You found her.
In another train compartment, there were two twin assassins named Tangerine and Lemon. Although they were twins, they had completely opposite appearances. At this time, the two were arguing about the incident that had just happened, and sitting next to them was a young man named Sun. Sun had just woken up and was confused about where he was. Tangerine and Lemon said that they were hired by the White Death, Sun's father, to protect Sun's life, and Tangerine and Lemon had just rescued Sun in a kidnapping. Lemon also stuck a train sticker on Sun's forehead, which represented the brainless team. Tangerine and Lemon then argued about how many people they had killed. First, Lemon took out 3 snipers, while Tangerine used the car to kill another. Next, the two of them joined forces and took out the Then, Tangerine stunned Sun unconscious and put him on a cart to go outside. On the way out, they encountered another group of assassins, so they threw Sun to the ground. Then, Tangerine and Lemon rushed in and took out the 3 sword-wielding men. While fleeing, they shot up 2 cars and a motorbike. In total, 16 people died, and counting an innocent civilian who was accidentally shot, it was 17. While Tangerine and Lemon were chatting, Ladybug easily walked past and took the suitcase. Tangerine and Lemon talked for a while, so when they returned to the luggage compartment to check, they discovered that the suitcase was gone. Taking the suitcase was part of the mission that the White Death gave the twins. To complete the mission, Tangerine and Lemon had to protect it safely, but now they discovered that the suitcase had disappeared without a trace. When it comes to the White Death, it is a Russian mafia. He is famous for being very strong and cruel. The White Death quickly won the trust of the Japanese gang leader. Just a month later, he wanted to overthrow that leader. The White Death personally killed the boss with a shot. After that, he became the leader of the largest gang in Japan. From then on, the gangsters called him the White Death. At this time, Tangerine and Lemon felt that they were about to die. The two regained their spirits and went to find the suitcase. But as soon as they went out, they discovered that Sun had been brutally murdered. Tangerine and Lemon could only look at each other, not understanding what was happening. In another development, Kimura woke up to find herself tied up by Prince, the daughter of the White Death. Prince used the life of Kimura's hospitalized son to threaten Kimura to assassinate her father. Prince was a victim of male chauvinism. The White Death only gave power to his brother's son. Even though Sun was just a brainless bum, Prince was angry because his father looked down on him, so she tried many times to hire someone to kill him. At this time, Ladybug had just passed by Prince's place and was about to get off the train. As soon as she reached the train door, Ladybug thought she had completed her mission, but unexpectedly, in front of Ladybug was a difficult guy. Wolf had no father and had lived with his mother since he was little. She always told Wolf to grow up to be strong. After his mother died, Wolf went to the city and became a thug. Every day, Wolf faced fierce fights. Not long after, he caught the eye of a leader. After Wolf completed many missions well, he also gained the absolute trust of the leader. Although he had a lot of money and countless girls chasing him, he was loyal to a gentle girl. The two people fell in love passionately and got married. When he was still an assassin, Wolf offended many people. In each assigned mission, Wolf killed the victim very cruelly. On the day Wolf held his girlfriend's wedding, he did not eat cake with everyone, but went to wash the wine stains on his vest. When he returned, Wolf saw that all the guests at the party were poisoned by snake venom. They all vomited blood and died on the spot, including his wife. Because of the pain, Wolf was determined to find the culprit to take revenge. Wolf was guided onto this train by a mysterious person. As soon as the door opened, Wolf immediately stabbed Ladybug in the shoulder. Wolf pushed Ladybug back into the train compartment. But luckily, thanks to the phone, Ladybug escaped death. The two of them dragged each other to the ground. Ladybug hurriedly told the other party to calm down and solve the problem. Wolf said he came here to avenge his wife. Ladybug heard that and completely did not understand what was going on, but Wolf was blinded by hatred and was determined to kill Ladybug. Seeing that the situation was not good, Ladybug reached for a bottle of wine and smashed it on the other party's head. Ladybug hugged the suitcase and tried to run away, but unexpectedly, Wolf threw a knife at him. Ladybug panicked and used the suitcase to block it forward, but unexpectedly, the knife flew back and hit Wolf's heart. Wolf died on the spot. Ladybug immediately started cleaning the bar. He put Wolf on the table and stuffed another bottle of wine into his hand. Ladybug then covered the other party with a blanket, and finally, he successfully faked the scene on the same train. Not far away in another train car, Tangerine and Lemon were carefully wiping Sun's face. They put on a hat and then glasses for him to pretend he was sleeping. After that, the two of them split up to find the suitcase. Ladybug had just reached the door when she met Lemon again. He realized that this was a crazy assassin duo and had killed many people. Lemon had shot him twice in the shoulder. Ladybug hurriedly left, but unfortunately bumped into the mascot Ramonda.
Sorry, buddy.
Because of that, he missed the chance to get off the train. Ladybug had to take Wolf's phone and call the mission navigator. Then he remembered that he was also at Wolf's wedding. That day, Wolf was hit by Ladybug, so he didn't eat the cake and just happened to escape death. At this time, Ladybug caught Tangerine walking towards him. He quickly hid in the suitcase compartment. Tangerine received a call from the White Death. He promised to bring the pulp suitcase and Sun back to the gang leader. As soon as Tangerine turned around, she was startled to see the person next to her. He and Ladybug greeted each other politely, and that was it. Tangerine happened to ask Prince about the suitcase, and she pointed out a man wearing a hat. Tangerine immediately called to warn Lemon, but at this time Ladybug was sitting across from Lemon. Ladybug mentioned her past when she was shot by Lemon, but Lemon said he didn't remember anything. Lemon reminded Ladybug that this was a quiet train car, so don't bother others. Ladybug pretended to have a gun and threatened Lemon. He wanted to make up with Lemon. Ladybug said that he would return the suitcase and then they would make up. Lemon expressed his disagreement. Then, because she misunderstood that Ladybug had killed Sun, Lemon pulled him, causing his head to hit the table hard. Ladybug angrily hit Lemon's face repeatedly. Then he slammed the computer screen shut. Lemon immediately picked up the computer and hit Ladybug straight on the neck. Ladybug continued to kick Lemon's leg. At this time, an elderly woman complained that the two were too noisy. Taking the opportunity, Lemon threw something at Ladybug's face and grabbed the gun. The two went from one seat to another. When the magazine fell out, Ladybug continued to switch seats next to Sun. Lemon immediately attacked, but unfortunately punched Sun in the face. Then Lemon held Ladybug's neck tightly. Lemon loaded the gun to kill him. Ladybug kicked the chair hard, causing the two to fall backwards. Finally, he took the laptop and hit Lemon's head hard, causing him to pass out. Then Ladybug put some sleeping pills in the water bottle and left it where it was. Ladybug used Sun's sleeve to wipe the dirt off her face. Ladybug also took Lemon's phone. Next, he called the navigator and said that there seemed to be many forces on the train. Ladybug suspected that person who killed Sun and Wolf's wife was the same person. To avoid unexpected situations, Ladybug went into the luggage compartment and used things to block the door, waiting for the moment to get off the train. But unexpectedly, the snake next to it suddenly escaped. Ladybug was scared and immediately retreated. This was a boomslang, a very poisonous snake. The victim bitten by it would bleed internally until death. Ladybug had no choice but to lock the snake here and go out. Ladybug went to the next compartment and accidentally bumped into the ticket inspector. Ladybug hired a young man to help her impersonate him for $100. The other guy thought Ladybug was looking for a mate. On this side, when Tangerine returned, he discovered that his brother had collapsed. He angrily took a gun and went to look for Ladybug, but found the door blocked. Tangerine used a teddy bear as a silencer and shot the train compartment door, which accidentally released the boomslang snake. He put the gun to Ladybug's head, but it was a fake Ladybug. Taking advantage of this moment, Ladybug was hiding inside and immediately ran away, while Lemon, after waking up, faced the White Death. The White Death ordered Sun and his suitcase to be brought to the next station for his subordinates to check. At this time, waiting for them was a gang of gangsters with full weapons. Tangerine tried to act like everything was fine. He said that White's son was still alive and told them to look at the ship's door. At this time, Sun was waving his hand thanks to Lemon's control from behind, so the two of them safely escaped the first disaster. Then Tangerine hurriedly got in the car and left. Lemon said his deduction. He thought that the person who just killed Sun was another force. He also told Tangerine to be careful with everything around. At this time, Prince had also taken the suitcase and handed handed it over to Kimura to unlock. Kimura immediately controlled the girl by pointing a gun at her head, but Kimura did not dare to do anything because he was afraid that his son would be assassinated. At this moment, Kimura's father, Elder, called. He heard his son's trembling voice and guessed that his son was being controlled. Prince asked Kimura to stay and open the suitcase, so Kimura had to open each number with trembling. When the suitcase was opened, it simply contained $10 million. Prince planted the bomb inside and put it back in its original place. It turned out that the gun Kimura was holding also had a reverse detonator installed. Just pull the trigger and the ship would explode immediately. Meanwhile, Ladybug had escaped into the bathroom and was exploring the functions inside. There were lights, music, and a hairdryer. Ladybug decided to find someone named Hornet, who was the one who used the snake venom boomslang to kill Sun. Then this guy handed Sun over to Tangerine and Lemon and escaped. But suddenly, Tangerine found Ladybug thanks to the location on her brother's phone. The two began to attack fiercely from the bathroom to the kitchen. Ladybug struggled to dodge the strong punches from the opponent. Then Ladybug jumped on the table and kicked Tangerine. At this moment, a flight attendant suddenly pushed things in. To act like a gentleman, the two stopped fighting. Ladybug also bought a bottle of water with Tangerine's money. Then he used that bottle to throw Tangerine, causing his nose to bleed. Tangerine went crazy and strangled Ladybug. Ladybug used her foot to open the emergency door, causing the two to be sucked out. When the two climbed inside, Tangerine had already reversed the situation. Tangerine used her chopsticks to kill Ladybug. At this time, the phone rang. Ladybug immediately advised Tangerine to pick up the phone because she knew it might be important. After thinking for a while, Tangerine decided to pick up the phone. At this moment, the White Death called again. The White Death asked him to check the suitcase at the next station and that Lemon must be present. Ladybug decided to pretend to be Lemon and take any suitcase on the train. At this time, the two of them really looked like twins and easily fooled the White Death's subordinates. But at this time, Ladybug turned the password of the suitcase around. Unexpectedly, the suitcase really opened. The pile of clothes inside just fell out. The two of them immediately ran onto the train before being caught and handed over to the White Death. The ship continued its journey. At the same time, Lemon went to Prince to ask about the suitcase. Prince said he was kidnapped by the man next to him, so Lemon shot Kimura dead on the spot. While hiding Kimura's body, Lemon accidentally saw the detonator in Prince's bag, so he realized he had just been tricked by her. When Lemon was about to kill Prince, he passed out because he had drunk Ladybug's water bottle, so Lemon was brutally shot by Prince. Outside, Ladybug used her psychological manipulation again. Ladybug took advantage of the moment the train stopped to kick Tangerine out. Tangerine frantically chased after him and jumped onto the back of the train. Tangerine used all her strength to punch the glass and successfully got inside. Ladybug picked up Tangerine's phone while returning. Ladybug told the other end of the line that they were on the train to Kyoto. Then Ladybug returned to the bar and got the suitcase. He also accidentally found a picture of Hornet in Wolf's bag. That was the girl wearing the mascot Momonga. She was also the one who killed Sun with snake venom. At this moment, Ladybug remembered that she was the one who put poison in the cake. Hornet was now standing right in front of Ladybug. Someone Ladybug with a needle containing poison. The two were struggling. Hornet took the opportunity to push Ladybug aside, and Hornet swung the needle towards Ladybug. This type of poison can kill the poisoned person within 30 seconds. Ladybug quickly used her suitcase to block the needle, but was still stuck in his hand. He immediately grabbed it and injected all the medicine into Hornet. The two stood looking at each other for 30 seconds. Just as she was about to inject the antidote, Ladybug quickly injected herself. After 30 seconds, the poison took effect and Hornet had no chance of survival. Ladybug sarcastically asked Hornet if she needed her to pray for her. On this side, Tangerine returned to the train car and discovered that her brother had died. Tangerine was in great pain and tried to hold back her tears as she put her necklace on Lemon. Then Tangerine took up arms and went to avenge her brother. At this time, Prince began to feel sorry for Tangerine and asked for help. When Tangerine was about to leave, she saw the character's sticker on her neck. It was a train, so Tangerine immediately turned around. Just as Tangerine was about to kill Prince, Ladybug appeared again. Unfortunately, Tangerine was shot. Before dying, Tangerine tried to warn Ladybug, but he did not understand what the other party was implying. At the next stop, Ladybug breathed a sigh of relief and put her suitcase down the train. When he was about to end the trip, Prince made an excuse that her bag was stuck.
I can't, my bag can't get stuck.
In the end, Ladybug had to get on the train with her. At this time, Kimura's father also appeared. Kimura walked down and sat in the next row because he recognized the voice of the person who forced his son at first. Ladybug was shy, so she wanted to move to another place. Right when Ladybug was reaching into the bag below, he was bitten by the boomslang snake on the hand. Ladybug was scared and ran around screaming. Ladybug ran into the bathroom and carefully pushed the snake into the toilet. Ladybug then wrote a note on top that there were poisonous snakes, so don't open it. At the same time, Elder exposed all of Prince's crimes. Prince was still arrogant and flattering until he said that his nephew was still alive. The nurse who took care of the boy killed Prince's son before he could say anything. Prince was angry and wanted to do anything to him, but Elder threatened her. Seeing that the situation was not favorable, Prince grabbed his bag and ran away. At the same time, Ladybug just stuffed the snake into the toilet. Ladybug then sat down and talked to Elder. Ladybug asked how to reduce bad luck. Elder said that everything was arranged by fate. Elder told Ladybug a story, even though Ladybug didn't want to hear it. When Elder was still Minerva's subordinate, he should have been the heir to that seat, but the White Death changed everything. The White Death killed Elder's men and even attacked his wife. In the end, only Elder's young son was lucky enough to escape. From there, Elder planned his revenge. Ladybug's presence on this train was fate. Elder asked Ladybug to help his son, and he would stay to fight the White Death. Fortunately, Kimura was not dead yet. Besides, Lemon was fine because he was wearing a bulletproof vest, but he had to face the pain of his brother's death. After the three people bandaged their wounds, the train gradually reached the final stop in Kyoto. The White Death was already waiting, and as soon as he got on the train, his daughter came out to greet him. She pointed a gun at her father, but was quickly snatched away by the White Death. Prince had already installed a detonator in it, and if the White Death pulled the trigger, his head would explode. But he did not do anything because he only considered Prince a child. Outside, Ladybug brought out a suitcase to trade and was taken away by two subordinates for inspection. At this time, the White Death confessed that he was the one who arranged the train. His wife died because of their stupid son, so the White Death killed son. Tangerine and Lemon touched the White Death's men, while Hornet was the one who poisoned the person who probably saved his wife. So this was a revenge arrangement. White wanted everyone to kill each other. Ladybug could not believe that today she was going to work instead of the man who killed the White Death's wife. Because that guy had a stomachache, he could not go on the mission. At this time, his teammates opened the suitcase, and a big explosion. At this time, Elder also pulled out his sword and combined with his son to attack the guards. Meanwhile, Lemon did not know Japanese, so he let the train run at full speed. The two were thinking of a way to stop when the Death's men opened fire again. Lemon saw that he was shot, so he decided to stop them so that Ladybug could find a way to stop train. Ladybug read the manual but was clumsy and let the wind blow it away. Soon after, they collided with another train, but Ladybug was dead, so they were lucky not to be pulled off the tracks. However, the control panel caught fire. Ladybug was attacked before he could put out the fire, so he used a fire extinguisher as a weapon. But then the extinguisher ran out of CO2, so Ladybug threw it away and accidentally hit a subordinate, causing him to fall off the train inexplicably. Ladybug threw the sword to save Lemon's life. After that, the two apologized to each other and decided to make peace. At this time, Elder faced Ladybug. The two drew their swords and rushed towards each other. Elder was no match for the Russian mafia. Elder's sword got stuck in the wall. Ladybug turned her gun to kill Elder. Right at the moment of the last bullet, Ladybug was lucky to finish connecting the wires and put the train in emergency brakes. Besides, Kimura picked up a bottle of water and threw it hard at Ladybug's head, making her dizzy. Elder took this opportunity to stab Ladybug through the body. The train then derailed. Ladybug flew from the first car to the last car. He luckily bumped into Momonga and slid out. Before Ladybug could react, the White Death God appeared. Ladybug tried to explain that the White Death had mistaken the person, but the White Death God still shot Ladybug. But in the end, the White Death God was blown up by his own daughter's gun. At this time, Elder and his son slowly walked out. Unexpectedly, they met Prince with a gun in his hand. Before Prince could do anything, she was hit and killed by a truck carrying oranges. At this time, the conductor came to pick Ladybug up and take him home, making him touched and crying. Ladybug was praising the beautiful new car. The iron bar fell and crushed the car. Two looked at each other and then walked home. The movie really ended here. Thank you for your attention.